Is A camera rolling?
Yeah.
B camera rolling. This one is rolling. I'm just confirming right now. It's rolling. Yeah, it's rolling. It's red.
Okay.
Shit, man. So, guys, for all the listeners at home, welcome to the Submit podcast. And welcome to Keith, my first guest on the podcast. And Keith and I have met each other 10 months ago at a BJJ gym. And we're going to explain later on for the viewers at home what BJJ is. Here in Zwolle, it's called Marshlands Academy.
Marshlands JiuJitsu.
Marshlands JiuJitsu. That's it. Yeah, so it's Marshlands JiuJitsu. And we have been training together for basically 10 months now. And we're going to get into that at a later stage. But for the people that don't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, what is it? Can you try to explain what it is?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a grappling art. It comes originally from judo. That's adapted for more on the ground.
Right.
It was a student of Kano, was a guy that started judo, and he traveled around the world and he did some prize fighting. And instead of saying that he was a judoka, he said he did jiu-jitsu. And he traveled around the world, and he was in Brazil. And then the Gracie family, the guy helped him out and with business and things like that. And then as out of gratitude, he taught his sons, judo.
Right.
But the oldest son, and then Carlos and the other son Helio, they put their own twist on it.
Right.
Especially Helio, because he was a really small guy. He really changed it to fit a small guy as a self-defense.
Right.
And using leverage and balance and that kind of thing. And he developed a whole guard game, which is when someone's between your legs and you wrap your legs around them. And but the idea was that a smaller guy on the ground would have an advantage against a bigger guy.
Yeah, which is in basically all other martial arts, it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
Basically with all the striking arts.
Who hits the hardest, and that's usually a bigger guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what separates Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from the rest.
Yeah.
Right, and if I'm just going to repeat for the people at home, so Jiu-Jitsu is where Judo stops, Jiu-Jitsu takes over. Right?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good description, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you have elements from Judo are definitely in Jiu-Jitsu, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it's the more evolved, I think.
Yeah, because basically, the fight does not stop once you hit the ground. It's where it basically begins, right? Like, I think 80-90% of the fights go to the ground. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's the sport has been massively popular in the last few years, I think. Yeah. But it originated from the 30s by Helio Gracie, and then around 1993. You got the UFC. The first UFC was organized by
Rorion Gracie. Yeah.
Right. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, as far as I know, they had what was the name of the other videos? Gracie's in Action, and they were basically inviting people to come to the gyms from all different martial arts and tough guys and whatever to come and fight them, and they would bet or they would say that they would win, and they always won. Right. And then there was a whole video series that was out in the early 90s, and then Rorion decided to start the Ultimate Fighter, and that was basically to showcase Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to the world, that it was a superior fighting art. Right. And to prove that, he got it with one of his youngest brothers, his smallest brothers, Hoist to go. So he was like 170 pounds, and which is quite small compared to the other guys in UFC 1. There was like sumo wrestlers and all these big karate guys, and he won. He choked the shit out of everyone there and blew everyone's mind.
I remember, because this was in 1993. I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I just started Taekwondo. And I remember Hoist beating the living shit out of Pat Smith who was a taekwondo guy.
Yeah.
And he stood no chance because once he's on the ground, he was flopping like a fish.
No one knew what to do.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do. And we grew up in all those movies in the 80s that were fucking great, but...
Jean-Claude Van Damme was
like
spirit animal.
What do you do? You kick some dude in the head. So do you want to be a tough guy? You learn how to kick guys in the head.
Right. And then once it goes to the ground, you're flopping like a fish.
Yeah.
And now it's 30 years later, and it's becoming a big sport in the world right now, right?
Yeah.
So I am actually interested in your history because it's obvious for the people who are listening that you're not Dutch, right? There's a little bit of Irish accent in there. So just tell us your journey from, what was growing up in Ireland like. Why did you move here, and how did you end up actually here in Zwolle at the gym?
Well, I was born in Dublin, 1978, and then I grew up in Tullamore, County Offaly. It was the Midlands of Ireland. And Irish people like to fight. If we're not fighting with each other, our brothers were fighting with somebody else. And it's just in the culture. We're just, maybe we're angry little men, I don't know. But we like to fight. And you're in fights whether you like it or not. So you're fighting over a TV remote, you go out, you're fighting a football, you want to go to another neighborhood, someone wants to fight with you, we're just always fighting.
Well, what is your first encounter, real personal encounter with fighting yourself?
I don't even think I can remember.
You've been in so many fights?
Yeah, I've been in so many. It's like nearly every day you're fighting over there.
Right, so how is that for a kid growing up?
Yeah, I was quite a scared kid. I was more scared of teachers and stuff like that, but yeah, there was always fights in the schoolyard and you get your ass beat most of the time. I'm a small guy and I was a really small kid. Right. And there was always bullies and people just want to mess with you.
So what does that do with a kid growing up?
Yeah, then you want to learn how to fight.
Right.
And just to be able to defend yourself. And so I did a bit of boxing, a bit of karate, kickboxing later. And then later, before I moved to Holland, I did Muay Thai.
Right.
So not that I was really good at everything, but I did a bit of everything just to be able to at least have the idea that I could defend myself.
Right.
And Muay Thai was a really good, I found for street that works really good.
Right. Speaking out of personal experience here.
Yeah, it works really good because it's the art of the 8 limbs.
Right.
So you got your head, elbows, knees, fists, feet. Right. Yeah. It's very good.
And then what brought you here to this lovely country of cows and cheese?
Well, I think in my early 20s I had a pretty good party lifestyle and I met a Dutch girl and we fell in love. And she wanted to go back to Holland, so I followed her.
Right.
And we're still together, 20 years now. And we have a kid, I have a son, 10-year-old son. But I was quite naive coming over here. It was quite a culture shock. Right. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been here before. But I guess that's the adventurous part of me. I just go, fuck it, let's go and see.
Right.
And the idea was for a year. And then it became 2 years, and then it's a few more years, and then you're starting careers, and you're doing stuff, and you have a kid. 20 years later, I'm still here.
Right, so you mentioned careers. How was that? You come here, you don't have a job, and then...
Yeah, I started from the bottom here. Right. I worked collecting glasses in nightclubs, sweeping floors. I worked on sailing boats, like sanding them down and painting, and just like a ship painter. I did a season as a sailor, as a first mate, on a ship on the Waddenzee, between Harlingen and Terschelling. Right. So I did that for like charter ships.
Yeah.
And I sailed around a bit in the North Sea as well, and as far as Germany and the Ocean Sea. So I did that for a year or two.
Right.
But I came here to be with my girlfriend, and I was all the time at sea.
Right.
And so I came back then, and I was working as an ambtenaar, so like for the city, for Ian Days, that's the immigration office, just doing stupid administration, scanning photographs in for the like the green cards and stuff, that kind of stuff. And then later I met an American guy, and he was living here a long time, and he he trained me to be a furniture maker.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm a furniture maker and a fine carpenter. And I worked for him for a couple of years, and he taught me like so much. And then I decided to start my own business, so I did that for like 10 years. As my own business, making custom furniture, bespoke furniture, in the high end.
Shit.
And then I got kind of a bit burnt out doing that because oh, there's a cat. I'm a really good craftsman, but I'm not the best businessman.
Right.
So I had a struggle with that, how to run a business and deal with clients and that kind of stuff. So then I made a switch and I went into education, and I've been doing that for the last 3 years, and now I'm ready to do something else.
Right. Do you know what that is?
No, not yet. No, and we started this year. Well, we started the jiu-jitsu team 2 years ago, and not as a commercial endeavor, but just 3 guys together, train together, have an idea how we wanted to train, what we want to do, and that went from 3 guys to now 2 years later with 60 people, I think.
Yeah, so I've been here for a year and I've seen it grow from I think 20 something to more than double.
So we moved the beginning this year to a new location and made it like a real business. So myself and Matisse and Michael, so we do that together. And Matisse is the main trainer, and Michael's the assistant trainer. And I help out when I can. And I teach them the kids coach, and we do it together with the 3 of us, and everybody has their own strengths, and we have Marshlands JiuJitsu.
Yeah, and that's the common thread that connects all 4 of us here, because we're 4 people in the room. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about who Michael and Matisse were and how you got to know them?
Yeah, I knew Matisse first.
Never wanted nothing but your life saved. That's what I like, damn, getting down.
And we met at another gym, and we were training there together, and slowly became good friends.
Right.
And trained a lot, and then I did MMA for like 10 years, 11 years, and then after a while, like I turned 44 in a few weeks. So after a while I got too old, I got sick of getting punched in the face, and I thought, now you're ugly enough. Right. I have enough scars, and then I got into no-gi jiu-jitsu, and I was doing that for a few years, and then Matisse had been to Brazil a few times, and he was really enthusiastic about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like in the gi, and I was like, I don't know, like the pajamas, I don't know if I want to do that, but you met him, he's such an enthusiastic guy, and he's like, do it, Cole, let's do it. And I think the first 6 months I whinged and bitched about how much I hated the gi, and then one day I was like, hold on a sec, this is pretty fucking cool.
So for the people at home, so gis are the uniforms that we put on, the pajamas with the belts. And there's two forms, right? So you have 2 styles. No gi, which is you don't wear a gi, you just wear shorts and rash guards. And the other one is the gi one, and which is considered like that's how it started.
More traditional, right? Yeah, the more traditional, and in competition they have a different rule set maybe, and some techniques work in both, and some don't translate as good. So with the gi, you have the grips, you can grab the suit, and you don't have that in no gi. So it's more to be more wrestling aspects, on the hooks and that kind of thing. Yeah. Once I switched to the gi, I haven't rolled no gi in 3 years, I think.
Really? Yeah. How about Michael? How did you 3 get together?
Yeah, then Matisse was then friends with Michael, and Michael just started training where we were, and then through Matisse then I got to know him better, and then I was like, straight away I like this dude.
Yeah. Michael has this, he's very, very, his energy is very positive. You get drawn to it.
Yeah, he's just an awesome dude. Both of us awesome guys, and Michael was a pro MMA fighter. Right. I think he had 27 fights, and he had a really good career, and he fought around the world. And then when he stopped doing MMA, I think he got into CrossFit big for a couple of years, and then he wanted to get back into training, and he wanted to do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And through that, then he wanted to get better, I wanted to get better, and we just got on so well, and the energy was just good, and so then we started. Then I think it was the beginning, just from the first lockdown, I don't know, 2020. All that shit happened, and we would train together, and then slowly it built from there. And then when everything opened up again, like 2 years ago, we had a small team, and there's some guys that came over to train with us, and just went from strength to strength. And Matisse had a very strong vision of how he wanted to train. So,
can you explain that vision and how it differs from most?
I think a lot of gyms, they, in my experience, they have like usually like an hour lesson, and you start with a warm up, 10 minutes, and then you do a bit of technique. And let's say it's an armbar, and you do it 2 or 3 times, I do it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we call that drilling, right?
Yeah, and then you get maybe another technique, and they're not always connected to each other. They're like 2 random positions, kind of. And I'm not saying a lot of gyms do that, but some gyms do that. And then it's pretty quickly do some rolling, like sparring, and then that's it. Then your hour's done. And we're more from, we definitely do teams. So we focus on certain positions for 2 to 3 weeks, and we drill the shit out of them. So we start the class, and the warm-up is basically the technique.
Right.
And you just keep on adding layers, more details, and then you're doing it for like 45 minutes, and we drill, and then we do positional sparring. So from that position, and you're sparring for what you just learned to get it into the system. Right. And then maybe the last 45 minutes, half hour, we're just rolling. But most training is an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, so that in itself is different than most gyms you encounter.
So basically you can almost say that the first half of the lesson is just drilling and going over concepts and technique and just details. And then the second half is sparring. So then the first half and second half is just positional sparring, and then after that kind of free sparring.
Right. So and that's basically what everybody's looking forward to when you come to class, right?
Yeah, because it takes a certain person to like it, because it's it's a lot of repetition. But I've noticed with the guys and with myself that you progress really fast, and you get really good at it. Instead of having it's like Bruce Lee said, I'm scared of the guy, not the guy that does 1,000 different kicks, but the guy that did one kick 1,000 times, and that's kind of how it is. And I see the guys getting so good so quick, you know. So, but
dude, the entry level, like when you enter, it's fucking grueling, man. It's like I've done a lot of shit in my life. I've built businesses. I've done pretty challenging shit, but I can legit say that starting jiu-jitsu and sticking with it is actually the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it's fucking hard.
It's fucking grueling, man.
And sometimes you question your own sanity as well. Go, what the fuck am I doing?
Right. In every different context, if you tell people that you just basically like literally roll with other men in intimate situations and try to break their arms, people are like, you're out of your mind.
It's like murder yoga. I think you heard someone call it.
The thing is, and one of the things that actually in the beginning fascinated me the most is the belt system. Yeah. Because like I said, I came from Taekwondo, where you just have like once or twice you have exams and basically stick with it during the time and you will progress. And for the most part, jiu-jitsu doesn't have that, right? Yeah, it's a really long road to get to. Yeah, black belt is the highest belt. Right. You have white, you have blue. So blue is the first kind of beginner. You have white and then blue, so they're beginner belts, and then purple is the first expert belt. Right. And then you have brown belt and then black belt. But it could take anywhere between 10 and 15 years to get from white to black. And you don't know. If you ever get there. Right. You know? Right. So I'm a blue belt right now. Right. And you're a two-stripe blue belt. Yeah, whatever that is. Right. But I'm a blue belt, and a lot of the MMA and the grappling that I did helped me in the beginning. So I wasn't very long a white belt, but I've been a blue belt since 2019. And I had a blue belt before in Nogi. Right. I have a blue belt 10 Planet that I got from Jeremy Fields. Right. Oh, nice. That's an OG name. And come on, respect. And I got that in 2017, and then I went to the gi, and then it was 2019
I got my blue belt, and now it's 222.
Right.
So it's a long road.
Yeah. So for the people at home, you know, they're not set exams. They're not set exam times. Right?
I think, as far as I understand, there's kind of two different systems. There's some schools that are a bit more organized, and they be like more national level, and they have like a curriculum, and they want you to do certain things to get certain belts. A lot of these guys also have what do you call it? A Vince model?
It's basically you want customers.
They want customers. They have a certain system as well,
right.
and you want to keep people doing it. And the system that we have is you get your belt when they think you're that good.
No, and then I think this is the brilliant part of why it's so hard to stick with it. Yeah. Because you don't know what your professor wants to see from you, and it can be different in each and every person, right? Because
and you're comparing yourself to everybody around you, and eventually I think you realize that everyone's journey is different,
right?
And when you start comparing yourself to other people, then you go crazy.
Been there, like,
and then you're like, oh, he got a stripe and I didn't get a stripe, and I was blue belt before him, and is that gonna be purple belt already? And, but I was only talking about Matisse this morning. I'd rather be like, when I get my purple belt, I know that I deserve it, that it's legit.
Right.
So even if that takes 2 or 3 years, I don't care.
Right.
And I'll just be the meanest blue belt I can be.
right. Because for the people who don't know, so you start out at white, then there's blue, then there's purple, and then there's brown, and then there's black. Yeah. But in between those belts, you have the stripe system.
Yeah, and that's not every gym does that.
Right.
And I think even Matisse was even contemplating getting rid of it.
Right.
But I think for kids, and definitely for white belts, it's encouraging. And you can see that you're making progression. It's like an acknowledgement that you're improving, that you're understanding.
Because the grind is so hard.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So for context, blue belt 2 stripes.
Yeah.
Michael, blue belt 2 stripes.
Yeah.
Matisse, I think, is brown belt 3 stripes.
Yeah.
I am a white belt 1 stripe. I'm very early in my journey.
Yeah.
You are 1 white belt, white stripe, and you are a white belt, right? Yeah. So that's the 4 of us right here, and you never know when you're gonna promote.
No, not really.
Basically.
No.
And I think that system is not. It's based on merit and not on time.
No, it's just how good you are, and and it's not something I decide. And Matisse, he's almost black belt, so he's able to promote the lower belts. But it's always talking with Barry van Dorsen. That's
our black belt, right?
And then Remco Pardo as well. He asked them for advice, and sometimes if they're over, he's like, "You have a look at that guy. What do you think of him?"
Right.
And I think that's kind of how it works.
Now, which segue to Remco Pardo, which is crazy because he was in UFC 1. Right?
Not or 1, he was in UFC 2, I think.
2? As a traditional jiu-jitsu guy, right?
Yeah. As far as I know. Yeah.
And that's, for me, this is so mind-boggling because I remember him from the early 90s watching the UFC tapes. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, he is like in our lineage.
He walks into our gym.
Right.
You know?
Shit.
I remember seeing him on video because I saw it on VHS in the 90s.
Same.
And like a few years later, not even when it came out straight away, I think it was like 96, 97.
Right.
Before I saw the VHS. Right. You see the grizzly.
Yeah.
But he's the coolest guy ever.
Yeah, I remember.
He's such a nice guy.
I remember, like, when I met him for the first time, I was kind of starstruck.
Yeah, I was a little bit too. He's a big dude, and he brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the Netherlands. So after he lost to Royce, then he went to Brazil and he studied like a madman, and got his black belt, and then he brought that knowledge to the Netherlands. So he's the fucking OG here.
Shit, it's because of him that we have BJJ in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And he comes in our gym and trains with us.
He comes in the gyms, and that's the most gracious guy. He's so free with his knowledge, and always giving tips, and just an all-around nice guy.
Right. And Barry also.
Barry too. Like that's he's like the Yoda of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
He is a Yoda. So our lineage is you have Remco Pardo as the highest black belt.
Yeah.
Under him, we have Body as his black belt.
Yeah.
And under Body is Matisse progressing the ladder.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the Dutch line. And then we also have Tulio.
Right.
In Brazil. Mm-hmm. And Tulio then is, when Matisse goes to Brazil, he trains at Tulio in Berlin.
Right.
What's his second name? De Rosario, I think. And so that's the Brazilian line.
Shit, so we have 2 lineages.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So we're spoiled. And Barry is, that's the coolest guy ever. He gave me my blue belt in 2019. Yeah.
Really?
And I was having trouble then, and I stopped for a bit, and he called me up, and he was like, dude, you have to come back training. And I was out for about a month, and then I came back and trained for a bit, and he gave me my blue. He said, guys like you can't not train, he said.
Oh, that's so cool.
So he's a cool guy, and he helped me out a lot.
And also, if you see him, he's not that a physically imposing guy, right? Because Remco is big. He's really big.
His nickname was the Grizzly.
Right.
And Barry is a small guy, but fuck man, he will tie you in knots.
I have heard he's pretty strong.
He's strong as a bear.
Yeah, I haven't rolled with him yet. I wanna.
But he's just so tight. It's crazy.
Which again proves that size up till a certain degree does not matter, right? No. And that's something that me as a smaller white belt, I have to keep that in mind because. Man, I get tapped out so much, man, by bigger guys. Yeah. But the thing is, I remember very well my first lesson in July. And, I was coming in and we had a talk before, through email. You asked, do you have any martial arts experience? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, okay, I have a little bit of Taekwondo experience. And then I came into the lesson and Michael introduced himself. And he also, he kept an eye on me. But because I had prior experience, he let me do my thing. I thought that I could hold myself like for an hour and a half, but boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, it's a rude awakening.
The ego killer was there, man. Yeah. It's the experience is, I can only describe it as, falling into the water without knowing how to swim. Mm-hmm. Because you're flapping all arms and legs. Yeah. You're barely getting breath. Yeah. And you're nearly drowning. Yeah. Whatever you do, you're drowning. Yeah. And once you go through the system, you learn the moves and you just realize that if you understand jiu-jitsu and you can apply it and you master jiu-jitsu, you are the water for other people.
Yeah, totally. Right? Yeah. You're a shark in the water, I think Machado says. But you get used to being comfortable in the uncomfortable. That's like a thing that's said so much, but it's so true.
I think that's why I'm such an advocate for everybody to at least try the experience once. Yeah. Because nothing humbles you more than because everybody thinks they can fight. Every guy thinks they can fight. It's kind of an animalistic thing.
Yeah, it's a primal thing.
But if you
don't feel that you can fight, you feel very insecure.
Right, and that's what happens at that first
That's why people get stabbed and stuff on the street because
they overestimate themselves.
Guys are insecure, and that's why they carry weapons and that kind of stuff.
But that's the brilliance of jiu-jitsu. The mat makes everybody, it levels everybody out. And if you bring ego, you're gonna find out pretty soon that there's always somebody better than you.
Always, and even when you're a black belt, there's levels to everything. Right. It's like you think, I'm a good blue belt, and I meet some competition blue belt, and he'll eat me for fucking.
It's what Joe Rogan says, right? It's like, how does he say it? It's complicated problem solving with dire physical consequences. Yeah. Right? It's human chess, and that's kind of what it basically feels like. Yeah. Because you get folded into those positions that you don't even know existed. Yeah. And I discovered very quickly that one of my big mistake was trying to power through everything because I lacked the technical skill. Yeah. So I tried to go 100% on everything, which gassed me out within 10 seconds. And then you're like, the other person just chokes you out. Yeah, you're just like a piece of dirty laundry. Just get them folded up. That's why the drop-off rate is so high, right?
Yeah, it's such the progress is so slow. Sometimes you have like the first 3 months, you'll get really good. The difference between someone that's 3 months of training and no training is like night and day.
Right.
and then it's like you're able to tread water already. And then you kind of plateau a bit, and then...
Oh, I've had that, yeah.
Yeah, you plateau. Everybody has plateau. You have to get through that, and you're getting better, but people around you are getting better faster.
Right.
You know? Or maybe you're busy with we're busy with a certain concept or a certain position, and it's just not your position. We're doing stuff at the moment, Spider Guide, and I'm not a flexible dude, you know, and I fucking hated it the first week.
Yeah.
And now after 3 weeks, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm starting to get a basic understanding for that position and stuff. But you put a half guard, yeah, I'll fuck everybody up a half guard.
Right.
That's all man guard. No, I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's different parts of the game that suit different people, and some things suit you and some things don't. And the longer you're in it, then you start developing your own style, and it's like you're taking this and I'm taking this, like cooking, you know, you're taking different ingredients.
And that is that elusive word, right? That people just say that your game. You start to develop your game.
You start to develop your game.
Right.
And in the beginning, you don't know what the game is.
Right.
And then slowly you start realizing that there's different facets in jiu-jitsu, and you can chain them all together, or you can take one piece out, or just do one thing, and yeah.
So would you say if you have two people with the same skill set, but they both do not know jiu-jitsu, they are the same size, one does not train, and the other one trains for 3 months straight, the experienced guy is gonna demolish the other guy?
I would probably put my money on it, yeah.
Even if he's bigger?
Yeah, 3 months is short, but no, I'd still be pretty confident saying that they would hold their own, and I'd probably come out on top.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, like I said before, it's so, as a white belt, man, it's so grueling. And the hardest part is to stay motivated. And that's where I do think that stripe system comes in. Yeah. Because if you have 2 years and you just get crushed.
Because most people are 2 years of white belt. Right. And the first year is just, it's tough. It's like a baptism of fire. You know? Yeah. And that's what we brought in recently in March. We brought in a beginner's class. We didn't have a beginner's class the first 2 years, and that's
all of us.
All of you are all.
We did the baptism.
Right? You all just got thrown in the deep end with everybody else, and that's a tough way to get into it, and it's a big jump. Right. And yeah, it says a lot about you guys that you all still train.
But the thing I think all of us can relate. We were doing maybe for 8 or 9 months more, even more, the advanced, right? And getting tapped out and submitted every second. And then we go into the beginner's class. We have that head start. Yeah. But then all of a sudden things click. Yeah. Right? For me, I was like, oh shit, I could have just done this. Yeah. And my arm wouldn't have been armbar for 40 times. Yeah. But building that game, it gives me confidence right now that I can hold my own in advanced class.
Yeah, having good fundamentals. Because in the end, it all comes down to fundamentals. And if you're rolling with a black belt, they're gonna roll you. They're gonna tap you with probably like a guillotine or something simple that you learn in beginner's class. Right. Because it works. He just does it at a black belt level, or she does it at such a high level. But it's all that fancy shit. Yeah, it works. But the real fundamentals, that's the lasting thing.
That's the crazy thing, because if you do an armbar and you want to do it correctly, there's like 5 things that have to go right in that process. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. Right? Yeah. And that's why at white belt level, you fail so many times, because maybe 2 or 3 things of the 5 you have down. Yeah. And then you just start yanking in. The other person does not tap out. What the fuck is happening here? Yeah. It's grueling, and I think for me, everybody should try at least one class to know what you're made of.
Yeah, definitely. I have an older brother. He's now 47. He's 48. And he was looking for something for his kids to do, and I told him do that. He trains with Kieran Davern and Tony Moore.
Oh, nice!
And I was there on Monday just for an hour, and his kids are training there about 3 years now, 3-4 years. Right. And then my brother started 2 or 3 years ago as well. And I have another brother that trains that lives in America, and he was looking for something for his kid. He was like 10 or 12, And he started jiu-jitsu. He's doing jiu-jitsu for a year, and then from sitting there and watching, then my brother started as well. So both my brothers train.
Yeah, it's the oil spill that just starts to grow.
And they realize now they're competitive guys. They all did rugby and stuff like that back in the day. So yeah, they're addicted as well.
And that's the crazy thing, because one of the things that I've seen all across the board in the community is that, you know, the thing with jiu-jitsu is it's representative of life, right? The road of jiu-jitsu, the path is long and hard, right? And you fall and you have to stand up and you have to conquer those challenges. And what I see is a lot of people in the jiu-jitsu community, or a lot of people who practice jiu-jitsu, basically share a similar backstory of darkness and being at the lowest of low. Speaking for myself, I am in this process right now. You know, two years ago, I was diagnosed with major clinical depression, with suicidal tendencies that I've struggled with for all my life. And at a certain point, I decided to try jiu-jitsu to at least, you know, do something with sports and at least get out of my house and to challenge myself a bit and maybe fulfill that childhood dream of one day doing jiu-jitsu. And what I discovered was that although with my condition I thought I was alone in this world and felt very lonely, a lot of our teammates are struggling with the same things. Which made me realize, if I show up to training, I don't even just show up for myself, I also show up to help another person. And is this something that you see across the board also?
Yeah, definitely. And my own experience as well.
Right.
I suffer from depression, and about 2 years ago, for me, it got really out of hand. But I've dealt with depression my whole life. And it's not something my family barely even know. It's not something that I really talked about. But yeah, I know exactly what it's like. And even though I'm like one of the co-owners of the gym, I have days where I don't even want to go.
Same.
And it takes me a whole day to just pack my bag, and I'm trying to think, I sent Michael and Matisse a message, I don't feel good today. And then I felt that because that just getting in the door sometimes is the hardest thing that you'll do in a week, you know? And I've never, ever, ever regretted a training, but getting there sometimes is the hardest. But yeah, once you put your foot on the mat, there's no tomorrow, there's no yesterday, it's just today.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, for me it's the same, you know, I always know that if I go, I will feel better about myself afterwards. But
it's a tough sell sometimes.
Shit, man. I suffer so bad from social anxiety.
Yeah, me too.
That sometimes, you know, I cannot deal with more than 5 people at a time. And I remember the first time I went to training to do my first lessons with you guys, I had to really calm myself down and try to shut myself down for all impulses that I have.
Yeah, it's a lot of sensory overload.
Right, you know? Sensory overload. You get submitted, right? Your ego gets crushed. And then I knew from that point on that I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure if I was able to do it. Yeah. So the second time I came to the gym, I came to make photographs, just to get a sense if I could handle all those impulses and could vibe with the people. Because one of the things that's not good for me is when there's like toxic masculinity, man, then that competitive mind of me starts working, and that's one of the things that's the worst for me. So once I discovered at our gym that basically there was no ego.
Now there is egos, but that kind of macho kind of shit.
Yeah, there's no machismo, right?
It's probably a little bit, you know, but it's one thing that me and Matisse and Michael are like allergic for, you know.
Right.
And when we started the gym, we had a really clear vision of what we wanted. We wanted to have a good vibe where everybody can train, feel safe, and everybody can get better.
Right.
And that nobody's getting injured.
Right.
And if there's an asshole in the gym, he's getting out. He's been kicked out.
Right.
If someone's hurting people and just being a big fucking ego, I have no time for that.
Right.
And look, we've been like blessed. We haven't had any incidents at all yet, you know. But I've seen it in other gyms, and one guy can ruin a whole team, you know, just by injuring people and just being that ego. So I didn't want that at all.
Right. And I think that supports the whole culture that we have in the gym, which is not toxic. You know, if you want to roll for 5 rounds, you roll for 5 rounds. But if you want to take a break, you take a break. Nobody really calls you out like...
Something depends. Sometimes
we get pushed.
Yeah.
But it's never to that point that you are starting to patronize people.
But I'm not going to make you roll if you don't roll, you know. But sometimes, the guys give me a kick in the ass. Come on, Keith, another round, you know. We got Europeans next month. Come on, go for it.
Right.
But that's more encouragement. But it's not in like a pushy way. It's more, we're really good friends and we can say a lot of things to each other. So, but not like in a macho kind of. Pussy, get in there.
Because that stuff, man, I'm so over that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I don't got time.
Like I train nearly every day, and when I go to the gym, it's like going to my house, you know. And I want to feel comfortable in my house, and I want other people. I'm Irish, and I want people to feel welcome in my house.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that sets us apart from other gyms.
I'd like to think so.
There's this intangible that I just cannot put into words. That it's a very loving family. It's really, really supportive, you know. And I love everybody that trains with me. Like some people I would like to get to know better, but there's not one person that I don't like. I like them all, you know. And everybody brings their own thing, and I love seeing everybody getting better and progression, and they make me better. When they get better, I get better. So how does it feel for you to see the gym grow within a year from 20 something people to almost 40 or 50 right at this point? About 50, and then you think, it's great. And not too quick. I don't want it to go quick. I don't want it to be like a Mac Dojo. Right. Of course, I want growth, and it'd be cool if I could get some money back out of it that could work less. Right. Because I love being at the gym. But that's not the motivation. The motivation is have like the best jiu-jitsu team in the Netherlands, right, and then the best jiu-jitsu team in the Benelux, the best jiu-jitsu team in Europe, right. And we want that when people think of jiu-jitsu, they think of Marshlands, right. And I want guys we're pretty like competition focused, and I want guys to look at the pool and they see Marshlands and they go, fuck, that's what I want. And at every level, like white belt to black belt, right, they go, shit, those guys, they pass guard really good, or they have really good guard retention, or they're just savages. Yeah, the thing with competition is, when I started, I remember telling myself, never ever gonna go to competition with this shit, because I can never get at that level that I can control myself at competition. Yeah. Lo and behold, 3 weeks ago, because of your story, I registered for October. Yeah. And that's fucking awesome. Dude, I actually don't really care about winning this competition, actually. Yeah. But I care about at least, you know, going from somebody who cannot leave his house without having a meltdown, to actually going with a team to a competition and to compete, and just to go there for the experience. Yeah. And that's what jiu-jitsu brought, and that's what your story actually inspired me to do, which I think is a great story. Is there some? Can you share it? Yeah, I think I was training no gi, and I did the Primal Games in 2018, and I've really bad asthma as well, so I have it under control the last few years. But back then I used to gas out a lot, and I wasn't training hard enough, and I didn't like competitions. I hate the anxiety would fucking kill me. Right. Even when I played football and that kind of stuff, I hated games. The competition, I just my heart would be in my chest, just boom, boom, boom. Right. I couldn't handle it, and then I did that tournament, and I'd known Matisse about a year, I think. Then we've been training a lot, so he was in my corner. He was just shouting stuff at me, and I did pretty good. Right. I think I came 5th or something, but I never really medaled or anything like that before. But I was happy how I did. I got over the anxiety. There was one guy that was like, "This is supposed to be the best guy from this gym," and I think I bet him on a referee call. But I was happy that I did okay. And but after that, I was like, "Fuck, the stress was so bad, and I had so much muscle pain."
I was like, fuck, I think I even got flu or something the next day, and then flu with muscle pain from a tournament.
Right.
I was like, fucking 40, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm like, deal with depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADD, asthma. I've got a really bad back. I've like a birth defect in my spine, so sometimes I'm like on my back for a few weeks, and just had to, like I said before, it was the easiest decision I ever made. I was like, fuck, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to put yourself through that? It's just hardship. You know?
Yeah. Why would you want to fuck yourself so hard?
Why would you do that? Go just all that anxiety, and then you're there and you slap hands, and then you're like, holy shit, this dude's gonna try and fucking kill me.
He's gonna try to choke you.
And the lights are on, and then you're kind of wrestling, and you're like, oh fuck, I would have panic attacks and stuff. I would go crazy. And I would never perform good, you know.
Right.
And at least under the level that I felt I was capable of. So I decided then, that's it. I'm not doing fucking competitions anymore. And then, the last 2 years, the guys have been doing competitions, and any tournament going, they've been like doing really well. But just go like, some of the guys, like Ruben, goes like every month or something. Right. He does one tournament, and which is great. And they're just getting that. And it's not about the wins, it's more about getting that experience. They're just doing it. And then, and Mike as well, like, everyone was just doing tournaments. And I was like, nah, it's not for me. It's not for me.
Right. Why was it not for you?
Because just the anxiety. I just felt I was too old, and it was just, I just couldn't handle the stress.
Right.
But I'm training with the guys, and I'm just as good. I'm training just as hard. But when
we roll hard.
You know, but when it came to like going to a tournament, I was like, I'd have like panic attacks and nightmares and shit. So I wasn't going to do that. And then the guys were signing up for the Pan-European that's in Brussels this month.
Right.
And before I knew it, there's like 10 guys going. I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like, it's kind of my gym with the guys. It'd be kind of cool to go with them.
Right.
So we go for a weekend. I think they're going on the train and then staying the weekend and come back down. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to go and support and have like a boys' weekend.
Right.
And then I was thinking, and Matisse and Michael said, why don't you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's for me. And then eventually it just kind of grew me, because I think deep down I really wanted it, and I was jealous that they were all doing it. I was just too scared. So then eventually I signed up. I was talking to Matisse, and then we sent a message to Michael, because he's the money man. I go, okay, you go online to SmoothCom and sign me in. So he signed me in, and that was done.
How did you feel? How did you feel when you saw that?
Fucking terrified.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a video that I made for myself, and I'm fucking nearly crying, going, oh man, I'm so fucking scared.
Right.
Terrified.
What are you scared of?
Because you're thinking, I'm thinking all these doom scenarios. Right. I'm thinking, I'm going to get fucking smashed. I'm going to gas out. I'm going to get beaten. People are going to think my jiu-jitsu is shit. I'm kind of known as the tough old guy. Right. I don't know, but the tough old guy, and you kind of have that kind of reputation, and kind of you build kind of a role, you create a role for yourself, especially in the gym like that, and
you don't want to get exposed.
Yeah, you feel you're gonna get exposed, and people think I'm shit, and fuck, I lose, and then I'm a fucking loser, and everybody thinks I'm a loser, and you just have all these irrational reasons, fears, you know. Right. And then Matisse suggested there was a tournament in Eindhoven then a few weeks ago, and he's like, maybe you should do that. It's a small little tournament. There's no Masters division, so what I'm doing in the Europeans this month is Masters 2. Right. So it's guys from 40 to 49. So the guys my age, my height, or my age, my weight, my level. And this tournament was young guys. So it was just an open. They're all my weight and level, but they're all half my age. I'm like 1978, and I'm looking at this guy's, his date of birth 2004. Right. I'm like, what the fuck? Right. I graduated high school in 1996. Right. You know, so I'm like, fuck these young guys, and they're hungry, you know. And I was like, fuck. He's like, just do it. I'm like, okay, I did it. I signed in, and then straight away, nightmares. Right. Nightmares.
Like literal nightmares.
Yeah, I didn't sleep. Like I sleep bad anyway, but I was like, I slept like doom scenarios. So the first week I was just fucking panicking. Right. And like I said, all these doom scenarios, people gonna think I'm shit, and just fuck. And I regretted it. Like, why the fuck am I doing this? And then after a week, I had to do a lot of breathing. I do a lot of nasal breathing that helps my asthma, but also to calm myself down, do like abdominal breathing, with your belly and through your nose, and that really helped me calm me down. So anytime I would just think of competing, I would feel like the anxiety coming up. Like, oh, fuck. I'm sitting in my chair and I try to breathe it out, And then after a week, it got less, and there was just a little bit of excitement even, And then the closer we got, I was like, fuck it. I don't fucking care anymore. We're just gonna do it. And then, we turned up that morning outside the gym, all the guys are there, and it just, we feel like you're like Vikings or something. All the guys are going together, we go on a convoy there, and weigh in together, and then when I got there, I wasn't nervous anymore. I didn't give a shit. And I think I had 3 fights, and then I got in the very first exchange, in my very first fight, I got an accidental toe in my eye that damaged my cornea. So I was like blind in one eye. And
like literally you couldn't see out of that.
I was tearing out, but actually I got a big toe in one eye. I have to check the video, and I think got the other toes in the other eye. So I was rubbing this eye first, but then the other eye was starting to hurt so bad, so I just watering. And but the kid was good, and I lost that match, and then the second match I was almost totally blind.
You rolled blind. You fought blind.
More or less, yeah. I was like, but I was kind of like that all the anxiety leading up to it. I was like, I can't quit now. I have to just. I'm like, I have to finish the game. I came here. I have to finish the game. And even if I go in and get tapped out, I don't give a fuck. But I didn't get dressed up for nothing. I'm like, I'm here. I'm gonna do it. And I did alright. I won that match, and then the third match I was against one of our own guys, Ricardo, and I didn't want to be against one of my own guys. And we were kind of looking at each other, and I just go, dude, just fucking take my head off. And he did.
Yeah.
But which kind of was one of my anxieties as well. If I meet one of my own guys and then he taps me in a tournament, then what the fuck? What are people gonna think? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because the journey is your reward.
It's the battle is inside, and the medals and all that's nice, but it doesn't matter. And
essentially, you're saying jiu-jitsu is not it's not, fighting your partner or fighting your competitor. It's fighting yourself.
Totally.
You're always fighting yourself.
Totally. I think you're your own worst enemy in a lot of ways, and all the things, the insecurities. It's always about yourself, like comparing yourself to other people and all that kind of stuff, and it fucks with your head. It messes you up.
So how did you feel afterwards, though?
I felt great, and I got over the fear. Like I was still scared, and when I was in there, I kind of pride myself. I'm a tradesman. I've got strong grips. I'm a strong guy. I'm fit, but I felt really weak in there. I felt weak. I felt slow. The guys all felt stronger. They all felt faster. And definitely in the beginning, it was like, oh, what the fuck? These dudes, what am I doing here? I felt like I didn't know anything. And then later in the second fight, it started to come back a bit. I started to recognize positions. I could hear Matisse, and he's trying to do what he's telling me to do. And that went really good then. But the fear doesn't totally go away, but you just kind of deal with it. You accept it.
Does this help you with your everyday struggles?
Totally. Yeah, because like I said, you've been comfortable in the uncomfortable, and you can translate that to any facet of your life. Like if it's in business, relationships, raising kids, it's like totally. Just don't panic. Stay calm.
Keep breathing,
Keep breathing. Look around. There's a solution here somewhere.
Yeah, because it's basically complex problem solving at a very rapid pace. And once you get challenged and you get sucked into that vortex, it's like a muscle that you train, right? The first time you try to lift that weight, it's not gonna work. But if you train that muscle and get that muscle memory, and when I first started out, some things I had to think about, and now sometimes I just discover that I'm doing it automatically because I've had so many reps. I think it's the same thing in life, man. some problems that we just cannot solve because we're dealing with it for the first time under extreme pressure.
Yeah.
I really think that jiu-jitsu helps with that.
Yeah, I think I had a really fear, especially when I had my business. I had a fear answering the phone.
Right.
This anxiety, the phone would ring. And then I just want to answer it. And people go, "You're going to answer? That's your business phone." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want that." Like, maybe they want something from me.
Right.
Like furniture. Or the furniture maker.
Yeah.
But and then I say, if it's important, they leave a message.
Right.
And then I call back or something. Then it'll be easier. And then, but it started to become a real problem. But after the tournament, I got a call the next day and I didn't even look. I just picked it up and answered the phone.
Right.
But normally I would like sit there and go,
same, dude.
I nearly Google the number. You know?
Yeah, say, oh, dude, same. Oh man, everybody does this. I thought it was the only one. It's the first thing. Google it, put it into WhatsApp, put it through Facebook.
Yeah.
Shit, man, I am literally the worst person to phone.
Yeah.
Please send me a message before you try to call me, right?
I'm too much of an introvert for that.
Yeah, shit. But you felt empowered.
Yeah. Yeah, because you it's a little battle that you win.
Right.
You know? And you're not going to win every battle, but if you win enough of them, you feel like you're coming out on top. And, yeah.
And, and the thing with jiu-jitsu is, you know that when you're walking down the streets, you can fucking destroy like 99% of the people out there, no matter if you're a white belt or not.
Yeah, you're definitely probably the toughest guy at the barbecue. You know?
Yeah.
If someone starts swinging, there's a good chance you could put most in the sleep.
Yeah, I know. This is very funny because I actually remember having that feeling after doing a few classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, getting promoted to the first stripe, I was like, nobody's gonna fucking mess with me in this supermarket now, man. I'm gonna get all of you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's empowering. It's
right.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who are on the fence, or what would you say to people who are interested?
Just calm down, do it. We got beginners class every Monday, and just become open-minded.
Right.
And the beginners class starts really kind of. It's not as intense as the normal class.
Right.
And some guys that have some experience, they're able to go pretty quick, or they don't even need it. But I think the beginners class, it's a lot of self-defense and just explaining the positions. It's basically, if you look at like from a swimming point of view, you're being taught how to tread water.
Right.
Like I think the first lesson you get in cold water.
Right. I've seen many people come in and be like,
with
shit.
the toe and stuff, but yeah, I think we kind of have a program for 3 months that Matisse has developed, and after the 3 months, you're able to tread water.
Right.
And then most people we have a few now that are able to go on to the advanced class, the regular lessons. And there's a few that are like, no, I think I want to do it again. And that's totally cool. Then do it again.
Yeah.
But, just come down, do it.
Yeah. It's the thing is,
you're never going to be ready for it. Because I know I have friends that are like, yeah, but maybe I'll go to the gym for a few weeks or kind of work on my bench press. This shit's not going to help you.
No, it's not going to help you. You had CrossFit people come in, right? Who are fit as fuck, and then they start rolling, and then it's like, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, dudes are really, really strong. And it was cool because the guys from CrossFit have a certain mentality. They're really fucking into the grind. Right. And that translates really good to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
They can take that, but the strength, I don't care how much you can bench press.
Yeah, it's a different kind of strain, and it's a different kind of being tired.
And all those guys got over that, it takes a special type of person with a certain tenacity and mental toughness to get over that ego thing and keep going. Yeah. And everybody gets that. If you just, all you have to do is just stick at it.
That's what they say about black belts, right? Black belts or white belts who just never quit.
Yeah.
The thing, I really have this feeling like, we all know there are no superpowers in this world, but jiu-jitsu is coming pretty close. It's pretty fucking close to a superpower. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you really when you learn to embrace that grind, man.
That's it. And that's what I said in that piece that I wrote was people get obsessed with the stripes and the medals and belts and all that kind of shit, but it's the fucking journey.
Right.
If you just embrace the grind and just turn up every day and not like, am I going to get this or a stripe or whatever, just fucking go every day.
Right.
And it's so far I do so long now, like I don't even think I might train it tonight. I'm just going.
Right.
Bag's packed already.
Right, same, man. It's already ready.
That's it. You just go, and even when I'm feeling shit, I go, and when I'm feeling good, I go, and yeah, like you said earlier on, even if you're not into it yourself, you can help somebody else get better. Then just be someone else's fucking dummy for an hour, and let them practice all your technique on it. But usually after a few minutes, you get into it.
Yeah, the thing is just, it's. You just cannot explain what happens there, because the thing that energizes you is not even, maybe you're physically not there, but there's always somebody who can pick you up, or there's always somebody you can help. Everybody's
helping each other, and the guys that are better than you, they help you like you're their little brother, because we all want each other to get better.
Yeah, and the thing is, now you mentioned this, there's this big, once you're a beginner and you show up and you roll with the higher belt, you're like, oh shit, that's a blue belt. He's going to destroy me or demolish me. But that's actually not really the case.
No,
right? Because they adapt to, a good training partner adapts to your level so you can learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you get, if you're way better than whoever you're rolling with, then you try and give them a bit of space and let them, let's say you're doing a certain technique that day, you let them try it out and let them tap you sometimes. Right. And if they start spazzing and get into
getting into scraps,
they need to put people in their place. But no, normally you just we want each other to get better. And if I tap someone with the same move 3 times, then I'll explain to them. I said, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm setting it up.
Right.
Because if you know how to defend my best technique, then you defend it. It makes me better at it, because I have to get it even more, train it even better. So you get better, I get better, then you get better. That's how it works. Yeah. And we lift each other all up.
Because in the end, it's a system, right? The systems can be learned.
Yeah.
It's just when you begin, when you take that first step, you cannot see that second one. Just when you take that second step, you can see the third one, and you can learn that system.
And that, like a black belt is someone who's just able to, he's like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's like 10 steps ahead, and then he goes back to 1, and then It's like when you learn how to drive a car.
Right.
You have to talk about the bubble, and you can you see the one car in front of you, but by the time you get a license, you're seeing 10 cars ahead of you down the end of the street, and you see, oh, there's the junction, there's the traffic lights. Your bubble just gets bigger.
That's right. And in the beginning, it's like, for me, from my personal experience, standing there looking at the Everest and being like, oh, there's no fucking way, man.
Yeah, but me too. Still, I have a long, long way to go.
But it's like you said, once it becomes a habit, showing up,
just then it's not an option, because if you quit it, if you don't turn up, like I've missed a few lessons in the last 6 months, but there were injuries and stuff,
same.
but never because I didn't feel like it.
Right.
That's not an excuse.
Right.
But once you get it in, if you don't go once for some stupid ass reason,
there will be a second time.
Then you make it easier, you know. So I even say that to my son. I train him one day a week. And he was like, I'm not really feeling it today, and it's nice weather, I want to go skate. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just 45 minutes. Just don't get in the habit of missing it, Right. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you also skate with him, right?
Yeah.
You're like a 60-something-year-old skater.
Yeah, I started skating when I was 40.
Right.
I have a son, 10-year-old, and he's really big into skating, and he's quite good, and we live close to the skate park here. And he skates nearly every day. And it was something I wanted to do my whole life.
Really?
But I grew up in quite a rural place when I was smaller, and there was nowhere to skate, and we didn't have a skateboard. And then we moved to another place, and I had a new neighbor, and he was like a year older than me, and he had like a penny board, like a skateboard.
Right.
And I hopped on that, and just straight away I fell off, and I hurt my elbow like really bad. And I was like, fuck. This totally sucks. And I felt embarrassed as well.
Right.
So I didn't get on a skateboard for 30 years after that.
Right.
Just that fear that we're talking about.
Exactly.
What other people are going to think about me and that kind of stuff. And then my kid started, and through him, he got some lessons. You have an indoor skate park here in Zwolle. Right. It's like that was set up by volunteers, and they give kids skate lessons. They got like 80, 90 kids now that they give skate lessons every week. And one of the guys there, it's a good friend of mine, Ervin, he started giving me skate lessons.
Right.
And all I want to do, I didn't need to do all that street shit. All I want to do is what the Dogtown guys did, just skate fucking bowls.
Right.
And we have a bowl in. That's all I want to know how to do. I don't give I can barely do an ollie, you know.
Right.
But I don't need all the fancy shit. I want to like surf a bowl. That's what I want to do. And yeah, I think now 3 years later, I can skate a bowl. Well,
you know, that segues perfectly into the jiu-jitsu thing again.
Well, it's the same mentality almost. It's because and I know a few guys like. We have the new guy, Rob, the New Zealand guy. I met him on the skate park.
Really? Yeah. So that's your connection.
He's a skater. And then I was like telling him about the gym. And then he had a friend in New Zealand, an Irish guy that was doing jiu-jitsu and was going on about it. And then just by coincidence, he met me. And I was like, yeah, me and my friends, we have a gym just down the street. Right. And he's like, okay. And then we met for coffee one day. And then, I don't know, then he came and tried it out. And now he does the beginner's class.
Right. Yeah, right.
And he loves it, you know. But that mentality that skaters have translates really good to skateboarding because or skate to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because skateboarding is fucking hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like, and you're trying to stay on a little board and fly around and do all these tricks and you get slammed the fucking whole time. Right. So, that mentality is kind of similar to what you need for Jiu-Jitsu. Just keep doing it and you will get better.
And you know, again, it's just cracking the fucking system, right? Stick with the system, learn the steps, and do it. Yeah. So, what's the system for Marshlands JiuJitsu for the coming years? What are you gonna do that you can tell us?
Well, right now we have the new place. It's nearly ready, and I think we're adding a few more classes now. I think we're gonna shake it up in the summer. I think we're looking at hopefully in the future to have at least a second beginner's class, and we're hoping to start a women's team, like a women's only team, for at least an hour a week and see how that goes. Because there's some women that they're in the beginner's class, but they don't feel totally comfortable maybe, and they'd rather be in a ladies only class. So I'd like to facilitate that, and I know a few really good ladies that are good at jiu-jitsu. You know, and I was in Ireland, and there's some really good purple belts and stuff there, so I'd love to have that in our gym too. Right. And just I think in the next few months you'll be able to train just about every day. We train already nearly every day, but now I think we're gonna move the Wednesday to the Thursday, so that we can have a longer lesson again.
Right. There. You want to go back to the 2-hour lesson? Yeah,
because with kind of planning issues with the new gym, we couldn't train as long as we want on a Wednesday, and it starts a bit earlier. So I want to change that up, and I'm hoping in the next month or two that you can train just about every day, and just everyone get better, and get better myself. And we got the Europeans on the 25th. Right. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. So
a lot of exciting stuff, right? Yeah. So for everybody who's interested, tell the people at home how they can register or look up some more information about the gym.
You go to marshlandsjitsu.nl and sign up for a proof class. Right. And just come on down.
Yeah, and then I would say
congratulations. And if you're really, really nervous, just come down and check out the vibe. Yeah. Just see if it suits you. And I'm not saying it suits everybody, but I think it can suit everybody. We just come down with an open mind and
start your own journey. Don't compare with other people.
Yeah.
There's only one more thing that I want to try with you, because I can't win from you at the gym. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to fuck you over here at this table. So can I do an experiment with you?
Yeah, go.
Cool. I am gonna need this. Are you a gambling man?
Yeah. I guess I gamble with my life every evening, yeah.
Have you ever been to, do you ever go to casinos?
No, I've never been to casinos. No.
So, if you go to casinos and you want to play a card game, the dealer never lets you touch the cards. Mm-hmm. They shuffle the cards like I do right now. Yeah. Because they know that if you, as a player, touch cards, you can manipulate them. So basically what they do is they shuffle the cards, they lay the cards flat on the table, and they tell you, cut the deck. Which means just grab for about half of the deck and put it in your hand.
Put it in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, just about half, and then the other half is mine.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
like that.
so you keep it in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel these are called air cushioned cards. They're a little bit slippery and all that kind of stuff. There's this air layer in them for handling. So now I'm going to instruct you what to do. You haven't been instructing me at beginner's class. Now it's my turn.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is you're just going to put cards down like I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just put them down.
Okay.
You can stop whenever you like. Okay, don't let me influence you. Stop whenever you like, but keep a small deck of cards left.
Okay.
Now, you divide it into 2 packs.
On the table? Or?
Yeah, and then put them in your hands.
Like that?
Yeah, like this.
Right.
Now I'm gonna let you decide which hand goes on your pack first, and I will do the same on my pack. So you decide for both of us. Okay. Which one is gonna go on the pack first?
Do your right hand.
Right hand. So right hand first. You're gonna do the same.
Yeah.
On right top. Hand on top, yeah, and then the left hand on top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get the pack, grab the pack, fan it out a little bit, and from the middle, choose a few cards that you just put on top.
From the middle.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many, or
just a few. You choose. Put them on top.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So let's recap. You cut the deck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You chose how many cards you took.
Yeah.
Then you decided when to stop putting the cards down. Then you decided which hand went on top of the other one first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decide how many you put on top from the middle.
Yeah.
Did I influence you?
Yeah, probably subliminally, right? No, yeah, you didn't. No.
So let's make 4 packs from left to right until your cards, until you're out of cards.
Just like that?
Just like that, yeah.
From left to right?
Yeah, just be consistent.
Right, okay. I'm so bad at this.
No, it's all good. You guys keeping a close eye on this. Don't let him cheat.
Okay.
So, we're all out of cards. And in psychology, there's this concept. It's called mirroring. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. Because I started to stack them up, and you stacked them up also.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see me manipulate any of the cards, which is called sleight of hand in Magic?
Not to my knowledge, yeah.
Right. These are 4 same cards. Have you ever learned sleight of hand, actually?
No.
Never? No. Try to explain what you have.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
And you can turn all the other cards over if you want. They are different.
Yeah. That's so fucking cool. No, I'm impressed.
And what this illustrates is there's a system to everything. And if you learn the system, you can break the code and you can do incredible things. And that's why this reminds me of jiu-jitsu. One decision could have thrown everything off.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for being my first guest on the Submit podcast.
No, thank you for having me.
Man, I had such a great time, and thank you for being open and honest about this stuff. And
you're welcome.
Looking forward to talk more, man. And see you on the mats.
See you Saturday morning.
Yes, bro.
Thanks, brother. All right.
That's it. Stop.